Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a really practical piece of tech. It's about solving a common headache in home theater setups.
hmm
How do you get that shiny new 4K signal through your whole system, especially if you love your older, maybe non-4K ready AV receiver?
Right, the classic problem. And we're focusing on one specific solution, the WolfPack 4K 1x2 HDMI splitter with an audio extractor built in. The part number, if you're looking, is HDTV B11A, runs about $50.
$50, okay. So it splits HDMI, extracts audio. Sounds useful. Where do we start with the specs? What's the headline feature?
Bandwidth.
Hmm.
Definitely the bandwidth. This is where the magic, or well, the necessity comes in for modern setups.
Okay, let's talk bandwidth then. It's listed as 18 gigabits per second, right? The older standard was what, 10.2?
Yep, 10.2 GBPs. That jump to 18 GBPs is absolutely critical. It's what makes this device fully HDMI 2.0B and, more importantly, HDCP 2.2 compliant.
HDCP 2.2. That's the copy protection handshake that, everything 4K seems to demand now.
Yeah, exactly. Without it, your screen just goes black with protected content. But the 18 GBPs isn't just about compliance. It allows for a much higher video quality, think 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, but with full YUV 4.4.4 color.
4.4.4. So uncompressed color, like what you'd want from a PC source or a high-end gaming console for the sharpest text and graphics.
Precisely. No compromises on the color information. And interestingly, this splitter is built to handle that data load while also improving the audio side.
Okay, so using a splitter doesn't automatically mean you're losing quality here, because sometimes you worry about signal degradation.
With a well-engineered one like this running at 18 GDPs, the idea is fidelity. And yeah, that bandwidth boost helps audio too. It bumps the potential audio channels from 8 up to 32.
32 channels, wow.
Yeah, and supports dynamic sync between audio and video. Plus, it handles 10-bit HDR pass-through high dynamic range, which is huge for contrast and color depth. Supports the usual color spaces too, like RGB, YCBCR 4.4.4, and the common 4.2.2.
Okay, that covers the video fidelity, but the name says audio extractor.
That sounds like the real problem solver part for folks with older gear.
It really is. This is where it gets clever. The sources mention it has, and they call it an industry first, a dedicated HDMI output port just for audio.
Just for audio, how does that work?
So you feed it the splitter, your main 4K source. One HDMI output goes to your 4K display, carrying the full video signal. The other HDMI output goes to your older AV receiver.
The receiver that maybe handles Dolby Atmos or DTSX beautifully, but just can't pass through that 4K HDCP 2.2 video signal.
That's the one. This dedicated port sends only the audio data over HDMI to the receiver. And to keep things clean, this audio-only HDMI port actually outputs a constant 720p black screen signal.
That is clever. So the receiver gets the audio stream it needs, the TV gets the video, and neither device gets confused.
Exactly. It lets you keep using that fantastic, maybe high-end older receiver without sacrificing the latest audio formats just because it lacks the newest HDMI video spec. And it's flexible, too.
How so? Beyond that HDMI audio out, you also get a multi-channel optical SPDIF output and even standard LR analog audio outputs. So pretty much any audio setup you have, it can likely connect.
And it handles all the key audio formats, like the immersive ones.
Yep, passes through LPCM up to 7.1, Dolby Atmos, Dolby True HD, DTS:X, DTS HD master audio. Basically, if your source sends it, this should pass it to the appropriate output for your receiver to decode.
Okay, that solves the connection puzzle. Video to the display, high-def audio to the receiver. Brilliant. But what about controlling everything? Adding boxes can mean more remotes. Does this help there?
It does, or at least it tries to. It includes support for CEC, Consumer Electronics Control.
CEC. Right. That's the feature that's supposed to let your TV remote control other connected devices over HDMI.
Supposed to, yeah. In theory, it's great. Connect this splitter, connect your Blu-ray player, your receiver, and your TV remote could potentially control power and maybe basic functions for up to 10 devices. You hit power on the TV and everything else fires up.
Sounds like a dream. One remote to rule them all. But there's usually a catch, isn't there?
There is. The big caveat is interoperability. While most manufacturers include CEC, LG calls it SimpleLink, Toshiba calls it CE-Link, different marketing names, the HDMI standard doesn't actually force different brands to work together perfectly.
So my Samsung TV remote might not fully control my Sony Blu-ray player, even though both have CEC.
It might not. Some manufacturers, and Sony is often mentioned here, sometimes limit CEC functionality primarily to their own ecosystem of products. So you might get basic power on-off, but maybe not much else across brands. It's inconsistent.
So a standardized feature isn't quite standard in practice. Okay, let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway here?
Well, this $50 box, the WolfPack splitter extractor, it does a lot. It reliably splits high bandwidth of 4K video, it extracts audio in multiple ways, letting you keep using great older gear, and includes CEC to potentially simplify control. It's a very targeted, very effective problem solver.
Indispensable for certain setups, it sounds like.
Definitely. But it also makes you think, doesn't it? When you have a feature like CEC, designed for universal convenience, baked into the standard, yet manufacturers can still choose to limit how well it works with competing products, effectively creating little walled gardens within your own living room. How much complexity are you, the consumer, actually navigating just because of these deliberate interoperability gaps, even when you buy devices that claim to follow the same standards? That hidden friction, that's maybe the real cost.